Okay, so I'm going to be really brief. This is going to be a real quick, short story. My now wife and I moved to Connecticut, bought a house, and got married in that order. This is in 1991. Diane's reading the New York Times, which you were just referencing, Donna. I feel like the New York Times for the humanistic Jews is kind of like our Bible. But anyway, so Diane's reading the New York Times, Connecticut section, and she comes across this article about the Congregation for Humanist Judaism. And she says, John, actually she said, Bunny, this is like you. This is your stuff. And I read the article and I said, yeah. So this was before the internet, so I think we had to call a number or something and leave a recording or leave a message on a recording. And the membership director then, Lucy Katz, called back and said, oh, come to the Friday night service thing. We're having a talk about Jewish composers. And I thought, oh, that sounds pretty boring. But we went, and it was actually amazing. It was at John Franklin's house. And he's, as you just heard, is the founder of this congregation, And he gave a lecture, which was a multimedia presentation that included video, recordings, piano player, and singers about the Jewish composers of Broadway. It was absolutely amazing. It was so informative. I learned so much that night, and Diane, my non-Jewish wife, absolutely loved it. It was Irving Berlin, Aaron Copland, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and some others, but those were the big ones. And Lucy Katz was the membership director, and we asked, more questions like, what do we have to do? You don't have to do anything. Sounds pretty good. And also the service, by the way, there was a service at the beginning of the evening, and it was really short. And I love that. And I just remember it being really short. I don't remember anything else, but it was really short, and that was great. And Lucy said, and I said, only one of us is Jewish. She said, oh, no problem. A lot of our members are mixed marriages. And I said, that's great. So, mixed couples are welcome. And we have been members ever since. So that's about 25 years or so. So I realized we're even longer than Donna and George. And that's a long time. So then eventually we had 2 kids. Now, my wife is Irish descent on both sides, and I'm Jewish. So when the kids came along, we explained to them, okay, kids, you're Jirish. And we kept that going for quite a few years. And we said, kids, you're Jirish, dad's Jewish, mom's Irish, you're Jirish. And they actually thought that was a thing. I remember Diane reminds me one time that we picked up a visitor at the train station, and we're driving home. Kids are in the backseat with the visitor. They turn to the visitor and say, we're Jirish, what are you? And the visitor then said, what are you talking about? And then there was like a whole conversation. And then our kids finally figured out that we had just made up this Jirish thing, and that there's actually no such thing as actually a Jirish. So we said, okay, well, you're both Jewish and Irish, and whatever. The mom's now practicing Quaker. Okay, I'm moving along, Diane. And anyway, so we have the 2 kids, and then they get old enough for Sunday school. And George and Donna were both their Sunday school teachers, and also Laura Snow was their Sunday school teacher. I mean, it's great to see their Sunday school teachers here. Anyway, the funny thing is Sunday school would meet every other week. And they had it figured out. They did not like going to CHJ Sunday school. They would much rather stay home and watch TV on a Sunday morning. So what they would do is, on the Sundays that CHJ Sunday School didn't meet, Mom would take them to Quaker meeting and make them go to Quaker meeting. And Dad on the other Sundays would say, you're going to CHJ Sunday School, and they would protest every time. And so one more, at the beginning of this process, they said, Dad, we're not going to CHJ Sunday School, we're Quaker. And I said, you're Jewish, get in the car. End of discussion, they go. Then the funny thing is the next weekend I could hear them arguing with Mom. Mom, we're not going to Quaker meeting, we're Jewish. So anyway, it worked out great, and our kids went through the CHJ Sunday School. And, I think they're Jewish. If they're not Jewish, they're certainly Irish. And Diane and I, of course, we're older members now, and our kids are older and they've moved on. But it's great to be part of this congregation, because when you're a member of the congregation, even if you're like trying to figure out who are these people and what do they do, and who's welcome, and what are we supposed to be doing, it's still like family. So like no matter what you do, there's still somebody who's going to be telling you that you're doing something wrong, which is great. Because it's like family. So I'll put something on the listserv, and I know there's like rules that go along with the listserv, and then I'll be reminded by another member of the congregation, you can't post that stuff on the listserv. That's not what we're about. It's like, this is like family. This is great. So anyway, it's really, really great. I get to stay Jewish and be a member of a great organization, and I'm so happy that this congregation is still going strong. And I know it's a challenge to keep the Jewish thing going, but that's what we got to do, and I love it, and thank you all very much.